Hello, everybody. Hello, do you hear me? Yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blue Morphos Impact Week, and welcome to today's keynote dedicated to sustainable innovation by Orange. Thank you for taking time out and being here with us today. Today, I'm very proud and honored to welcome Emmanuel Jardat, who will share with us interesting insights on what sustainability and innovation mean for Orange. And she will talk to us about Orange policy to foster sustainable innovation and sustainable digital transformation. But before entering into the core of our keynote today, I will let me give you a few words of introduction of Blue Morpho. I am Olivia Huguin. I am responsible for the European innovation ecosystem building here in Blue Morpho. And as you may know, Blue Morpho is a disruption partner for industrial players. We are especially working on bankable challenges, delivering technical and business solution, and this key topics events like this one are part of this politic. This keynote is part of Impact Week, which is a 100% digital event initiated by Blue Morpho and running from June 22nd to June 26th, this Friday. This whole week is gathering key players such as corporate, impact investors, the European Commission, and startups, innovative startups. The aim of this Impact Week is to define key actions to be undertaken at the European level to foster sustainable economic recovery. So we are very happy to have you there today. So Blue Morpho, we deliver disruption from ideation to implementation. We deliver disruption in technology, business models, and collaboration modes for your strategic and confidential project. And our mission is to open new ecosystem to stimulate disruption, develop new experiences to engage teams into disruption, and drive new ventures to deliver disruptions. Because as stated by our CEO, Géraldine Andrieux, together we aim to make disruption happen for a smarter and more sustainable future, generating value for all. So now that you have more insight on who Blue Morpho is, I will share a few questions to better know you, so that Emmanuel and I better identify who you are and why you are here also. So if you want to answer to this questionnaire, we will know better who you are. This is okay. We are mainly gathering here today SMEs and startups. Thank you for having voted first. Aha, clusters voted on. Thank you very much. I will close the poll now. Just a few seconds to vote. Yeah, thank you. Still with me? Sorry, we have technical issue here. I don't know if it's okay for you. Yes, this is okay for you? No, I don't see the slide. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. So I invite you also to share your thoughts, to engage the community on Twitter and LinkedIn during this Impact Week. This will be also interesting for us to follow you, to share your feedback on this social network. So this webinar will be recorded, and you will get access to the recorded version as soon as it is available. And after our discussion today, you will have a session, a question and answer session. So you can use the question box on the right hand of your screen to share your question with us. So coming back to the core of our keynote today, I am very happy to welcome Emmanuel Jardat. Hello, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Thank
Hello,
you
Olivia. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here today with us to share your experience. You are the Corporate Social Responsibility and Innovation Director of the B2B unit at Orange. And you've committed yourself and your group to a very comprehensive sustainability policy for a few years now. We are very happy to welcome you for this first edition of the Impact Week. And so Emmanuel will let us know how she has been working at the same time on the core business of Orange by designing and looking for solutions to enable a more sustainable digital transformation. And she will also explain us how, as a client and an investor, Orange also developed very proactive, disruptive solution actions to identify and support a disruptive solution that aims at facilitating the ecological transition that we all have to engage in now. So, Emmanuel, now the floor is yours. Can you start with a quick introduction of Orange strategy regarding corporate social responsibility and why this is important for a company like Orange to work for a fair and sustainable digital transformation?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Olivia. So CSR have always been, well, it's not new at Orange. It's always been a very important, I would say, direction and activities. First, it was more regulatory issues, things that were mandatory. So we have a lot of certification, like many other companies. But after we have decided to go really and change as fast as possible the way we are really working. So at our group level, we have two different objectives in CSR. The first is about environment and how we can reduce our environment impact. So we have the target to be carbon neutral in 2040, which is 10 years before the SMA, the GSMA, or all the other operators. And we have the also inclusion, so digital inclusion. So it is the second part of the CSR. In the environment, we have this carbon neutral fact, and we have also the circular economy. So we have many goals in circular economy. First, it is to have 30% of all the devices, mobile device that Orange puts everywhere on the earth, to get 30% of them back, which seems perhaps not so much, but it is so difficult to take back and to get back the mobile device from people. And we have also the goals to have a 20% of mobile that would be reconditioned mobile, so that would not be new devices to be put on the market. On the more inclusion and digital inclusion topic, our goal is to have some virtual or physical places where all the people could have some tools and some training to get all the knowledge about digital. So these are the two main topics that we have at Orange level. After, if I look at the B2B market, we have 5 big goals. The first one is about how we are going to work together with all the parties, so all the stakeholders. The first one is really to take into account the voice of our customers, of our partners, of our employees in all the decisions that we are going to make. We want also to have a lot of actions concerning the training and the knowledge about climate change, because we know that if people know about climate change, after they will decide to act. So one of the main step and of the first step is to have this training about climate change at all levels in the company, and especially at the decision level. After, we are going to have some, we call them CSR ambassadors, so people in the teams that really are going to make to make decision and action, local action, very specific action to change things in the day-to-day life. After, we are wondering if we want to put a sort of quota or tax, because if we want to go to the less in 2040 to go by less 80% of our CSR emission, we need really to measure where we are and to ensure that all our actions are going to reach this target, because it's very easy to say, I'm going to be carbon neutral, but making it real is much more difficult than what we think. So we need to measure where we are now, what our main impacts, and how we can have true action regarding these different impacts. So after, there is a whole chapter about circular economy. So we call it basically zero waste. It can be zero waste at our customers. It can be very simple, but when you have an orange B2C or B2B orange technician who are going to install fiber, for example, or a 4G somewhere, the fact that he lets the places completely clean as it was before, it's not so easy. So it means a complete organization of to ensure that we are totally zero waste in all our activities. We are going to sell also some devices that are going to be reconditioned, so 20% of it, and we are going to have 100% of our services and products that would be I don't know how to say in English, eco-conçu, so eco-conception, so completely conceived in an ecological way, socio and ecological way. So this is a very ambitious plan. So this is for 2025. And we need to look at all our processes, to look at all our services, customer services, but also internal processes and internal services, to ensure every time, the same way that we are looking at what is the budget we are going to need and what is the return on investment, we are going to put this question about environment. What will be the pros and cons about the solution about in the environment, because there is no neutral solution. So we want really to measure, and to measure also the social usage and I would say mandatory usage. We don't want to put innovation just because something is innovative and it is great because we want to innovate. No, we want something that really will be useful for people. On the second big chapter, we have everything regarding the carbon footprint. So here in every team, so we are a direction where we are about almost 10,000 people. So in every teams, we are going to calculate and to decide about what is the impact and what quota. So what would be the change we need to make to ensure that we are going to reach the carbon neutrality in 2040. So we decided that every people should have at least one action per semester. The third big chapter concerns digital inclusion. So it can be in different ways. When we are talking about digital inclusion, the first thing is that first we need everywhere in France, because my main topic is in France, but of course it can be everywhere on the planet. But we need to get the network and to be able to get the information, because we are a lot talking, for example, about teleworking as a solution, which that would be a good solution for the planet. But for this, you need to have the network. So covering all the territories, all the French territories, ensuring that you have a sufficient throughput everywhere is really important for us, and it is the main activity of Orange. After, we want to do something which is quite new, is to prioritize some partners and some customers we are going to work with, and prioritize customers that would be in social economy. So startup and social economy, we already put a special processes for startup, because when you are a startup, it's very difficult most of the time to work with a big group. So here we have a specific purchase agreement, so that startup can directly be used as suppliers for Orange any internal services. And we want to do the same for all our customers that would be in social economy, and to identify them also specifically with specific tariffs. For as an example, we accompany each year 100 startups that are led by women, and they have a specific tarification for our Orange solutions. And the last topic about inclusion is to encourage all activities or all action from our employees. It seems also obvious, but it is important to write it really in our goals, so that every employee who wants to take some days and to make real action for digital inclusion can take the time and is totally in his role as an employee of Orange to spend time on this. And the fourth big chapter is specific to Orange, because this is what we call IT for green, or solutions for green. And because we worked with some consultants, because else if we were alone, it would be very easy to say, thanks to Orange solution, you can decrease your carbon footprint. So we worked with BNL Evolution, which is a consultant in CSR and especially in biodiversity. And so we made calculation about our solution, and we can demonstrate. We have a little Excel sheet, that you can use, that we can use with our customers and partners, and to make some comparison about, for example, going to work or using this solution, taking into account the feedback we have from customers using the solution, and to demonstrate how we could gain from using Orange solution. So it can be solution in the cloud, it can be solution that would enable teleworking, of course. It can be solution about digitalization and reducing paper usage. So this is what we call IT for green, and we have a big ambition is really to provide solution for teleworking for any companies. It can be, of course, technical solution, but it can be also best practice exchanges of house, because it seems that when we have having a goal is easy. Finding the way to reach the goal is a second step. But after, when you really want to for example, take the example of telework, for an SME, it is not so easy, because there will be many questions about, it can be about the management, it can be about, I don't know, it can be so many questions. So if we can have some a way and a share of best practice on how we can do some sharing of all the telework. That would be also part of the solution.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Emmanuel, for this broad overview of your strategy, your CSR strategy. Going more into details in the core business of Orange. So the technologies is at the core of your activities. So we will have a panel discussion later on this week during the Impact Week on how deep technologies can have a positive impact. So what is your point of view on this topic? You mentioned it quickly during this introduction, but you must have worked very intensively on this. How do you proceed within Orange to ensure that deep technologies have a positive impact? Indeed.
Yeah. So I think about technologies that we have to look at two things. We have to look at the efficiency, but also to be more sober, I would say. So sobriety, I would say. Does it say the good English term? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's true that all the new generation of technology, they will be more and more efficient, and that's obvious. It has always been the case. But if we continue to have more and more usage, the efficiency will be completely lost by the usage that is going to really be more and more. So we really want to use as much as possible deep technology, and I'm thinking, for example, about artificial intelligence, AI, that can help us to reach also this sobriety, to be more sober. For example, very easy example. We have put a chatbot for people who need to recover, their PIN number. So it's something very simple. But there were many calls coming to our employees about these issues, and so we have put a chatbot. So it works on artificial intelligence. So it is really deep technologies, and it prevents to have so many calls. So it prevents to have also the to have the network which is taken, and also the people who are taken by that sort of questions, to give this information directly by the chatbot. And of course, if you don't have the answer to your question, you can reach someone human. But this is a simple example. I really think that if we think the technology in a whole, we should not think only and get the efficiency of the technology itself. We have to make the whole calculation. What are the impacts? What we call the different scopes: scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, and in the net zero initiative also, we need to look what will be induced by what we are doing. So every time that we are taking a technology, it cannot be only look at the solution only, but all the ecosystem of the solution. But this is one example, very easy to say that if we have an intelligent system and more intelligent system, and we can make more intelligent information analysis, of course, it is better for the planet, for the people, also for the employees, for the customer who has an answer which is much more quicker than before, and the best quality. So this is an example.
And you told me also that you have a very ambitious policies to reduce the energy consumptions of your, of course, of your data servers and other tools that your activity requires.
Yes, exactly. Because when you look at Orange globally, Orange in France, the main energy is taken by the network, and so in the network, so we have some data centers that are on the top 5 of the data centers worldwide, and this is due to the efficiency of the air cooling, because the most impact we have about data centers is about the energy that we are going to take, and also to keep the same temperature, because data centers and servers, they can only work, it should not be too cold and it shouldn't be too hot. So for this, we have put data centers in Normandy, and it is very important. I say that because I come also from Normandy, else I would not I would not say that, but it is in France where the temperature are the most always the same and not so high like in the south of France. So taking the air cooling from the outside and make it one of the 5 best data centers in the world. And I can give you the little stories, because first I visited the data centers in Normandy with a VR VR mask, and when I get there personally, physically, I was very astonished, because when you have a bay of servers that is empty, there is how we call it, there is a shield, so that the air doesn't go and freeze or lower the temperature in this bay, because it's empty, so it would be useless. And at the end of the shield, there is also I don't know how to say, but it is at the millimeter the air cannot go there, because it is like a fur, at the end of the shield, to ensure that the air would not be lost. This energy would not be lost by lower a temperature where it doesn't need to be lowered, because it is empty. And so it is some I don't know, thousands parts of some degrees, but it is enormous. If you look at all the energy that are in data centers, that is the main part of the telecom.
Yeah, so it means that it's not new for Orange to care for its energy consumption. This is something that have been taken into account far ago in your organization. This is so you had
for the environment part and all the ISO certification, it is more than 10 years before, and it is true that we have people that are experts, but really experts in all the environment issues, and their solutions are really taken into account. We have also right now some we are putting together how to lower the way we are coding, so to lower the carbon footprint of our coding manners. So all our pages, internet pages, we are looking at how they are coded in order to lower the carbon footprint also. So it can be, in the details. For example, it can be in some certain language. You should put just simple code instead of double code, because it will not be the same process behind double code than simple code, and it will go and search for data and come back. So it is very, very small solution, but at the end, since Orange has a lot of views on our pages, web pages, it is very important.
Of course, yes, it has a great impact at the end. Yeah, and
exactly.
Yeah. And taking into account the needs for anticipation, and how this has an impact, are microelectronics current technologies a limit to your ESG strategy? you just mentioned that you have a lot of experts working on this. Is this something that you are working on also?
Yes, this is really something which is very important. We are looking, every year at what would be the amount of raw material and resources we would need to continue our activities, and that's why we have all this circular economy also target, because it is very important to not to stop just taking from the earth and put it anywhere in the nature. So it's not in the nature when it is about a mobile device. We consider that it is more in the drawers, of people's home. But it is very important to take into account how we can take back the parts. So we are working with some startup and some SMEs about circular economy. So to disassemble, so first to get back all the material, and after to disassemble it, after to make from I think the number is from 3, for example, 3 mobile device. We are making a new one, which is put on the market, on the reconditioned market. Also to ensure that our waste in microelectronics doesn't go in the nature, because sometimes, well, in the African market, we never know. So we are also taking back from Africa, taking back their electronic waste and getting them back into France with a company, an SME in Le Havre in France, which is called Morphosis. So it's not Blue Morpho, but Morphosis. And yes, and so we are really the same, looking at every details and ensuring that we are not letting all this raw material, which has an enormous value, in anywhere, and after to ensure that we can use back. When we are talking about our more PBX, for example, furniture that we put in our B2B market, here we have, I think the numbers are 87% of the material we put at the customers that we take back, and after we refurbish it and we give it back to our customers. But it's this is also the official, the usual way of working with that sort of material. It is never a brand new one, and it is a good thing. And of course, for the B2C market in France, we have the Livebox, which is the Livebox 5, which is made of recycled plastic, because in this circular economy, it's very easy to say I'm going to reuse the part of my used materials, but to take reuse parts from the beginning and not to take new material, this is much more complex. And so we are very proud, because we achieved it for our Livebox 5, the latest one. And we are very proud of that. Personally, I just had a new one, Livebox 5, and I was so happy, because I know the people who designed it, and it was so complex for them to have this recycled plastic, for example, because after you need to have something also which is quite nice to look at, and it has to be quite robust. And so it was much more harder to use recycled plastic than to use some brand new plastic. It was so difficult, but after they made it, and so we are very proud.
Yeah, you can. So we see that to adopt this kind of virtuous attitude and processes, it is really demanding. It requires a lot of change also in our behavior and the way we work. It must have been a challenge to implement such demanding and ambitious policies and processes. How did you build the solutions and the tool that you needed? I guess you have to measure also. You have new tools to measure your impact and or to set up new solution and new processes? How did you do that?
So there are two things. I think first the way we made it was really asking all the stakeholders. So we made a stakeholders dialogue with our customers, with our partners, and also with employees. And to make our strategic plan, for example, we have used an app, a mobile app, which is that we use for Orange, and that enables all or anyone among the 10,000 of employees of the direction to give their ideas and what they thought. And so that was very rich to and it is anonymous also. It's very important because sometimes in big companies people will not dare to say things, and so it's very important that it was anonymous. And you can also of course vote for the ideas that you prefer, and so you can see what people are really thinking and what are their ideas. So it was important to have their opinion and their ideas to build this plan. And after, for all the measurement, and we were very pragmatic. We tried to measure our own. For example, in my own team, my own direction, what is my carbon footprint? So I made my calculation in completely being transparent, trying to use all the tools that I had, and talking with many people in Orange. And after we could compare, but it was very important to have this idea of what was our carbon footprint and what would be the goal. And I can tell you, for example, my own carbon footprint at work. So I'm not taking into account my life home at work. So I took into account, for example, the meals that I was eaten. I took into account the building where I sit usually, and the usage of transportation, of the plane, of the car, of the train. And so my own impact was more than 6 tons per year of CO2, which is enormous, because and it's completely in the means of French, which is at 12.
Yes.
So if I take
Unfortunately, yes.
6 at work and 6 at home, it would be 12. And the goal is 2. So if I consider that in 2 I have 1 home and 1 at work, so I have to divide by 6, which is exactly the same thing that Greta Thunberg is telling us. But how can I do that? So I tried to do. So first thing, I decided not to take the plane anymore. I didn't use the plane so much, because else it would be much more than 6 tons of CO2. But I decided this, and it seems also natural and weird also, because in the professional world, most of the time people think that it is part of the job. So after, that was before the COVID crisis, of course, but it was very difficult to imagine that everything could be done without taking the plane. We have some teams, who are in the Caribs or in La Réunion, and so going there is part of the job mainly. After what I decided, I saw that taking the train and taking the metro is nothing. So going by foot is even less. But really, I can take the metro every day. It will not change anything. I discovered also the very big difference between eating some meats at the canteen, at the restaurants, enterprise restaurants, or just eating vegetables, things like that. And after, so we worked also with our enterprise restaurant to see if there could be more vegetables and more veggies meals. What else? We discussed a lot, of course, with all the buildings and what could be done. So it is very easy when you move from a building to a new one to take into account new things and new way of working, and so that's easy. But if you are in an old building, which is my case, it's much more difficult to change things, but still you can always get percentage of things. And after, the car also was quite a big part, so I decided to reduce it. So I need now to make my new calculation, and I hope it will not be so high than last year.
Yeah, so you had to Orange had to work with a lot of inputs from outside to get this measurement of its impact on very different level.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and also in the way we work. So, for example, an example for about the food, because food is at the frontier between professional and personal life, and it's very interesting because during usual work time, there are always some meetings where we are going to get some food, because as a manager, you give food to the people who are working with you during the lunchtime, for example. And so getting some people who can have a food with low impact, it was not so easy. It was not so easy because it was not in the main purchase agreement. And so we are working with startup, and we wanted to make a complete offer that would be a sustainable meals for enterprise meals offer. But it was a lot of work. But of course, we are taking data with all the partners. It's not so easy. It's not so easy to get data from. It exists, but having access to it is another story.
Yeah, we have one of the startup that is involved in the Impact Week, which name is Grand Natura, is a startup who proposes low carbon footprint milk derivatives. So we have we have a lot of example like that people who are working on this challenge.
Yeah.
Coming back to the different level of action that are required, how do you address the challenges of data sovereignty and human-centric solution? You told me that your ethical department and lawyers are very aware of this challenge and very involved in this.
Yes, it is very important. So we have in all our direction, we have people in charge of ethics and compliance, and we have mandatory trainings for all the employees. And I can assure you, because I lived it myself, that if you want to put on the market or even internally a solution, you have to ensure that you are completely looking at all the GDPR issues, and to ensure, for example, that you have the okay of the people every time that you are taking some data. So this is something which is really the heart of what we are in all the processes. And about human-centric solution is also very important, because in telecoms it's just the tools behind the, of course it is human people, and we always see that it's we have to give the right mix between the tools and the human. So the tools can help the human know better, because there is analysis of the data which is quicker and that you can do very quickly. For example, when you are answering a customer, and if you have directly an analysis of the data, taking into account his contract, or everything that I don't know, his life with Orange, it's much more easier to have this tool. But of course, what our customers want, they want someone who can understand them, who can really have and demonstrate empathy, and this is not possible at all with some tools and machines. So it's very important to ensure in our tools, in our process, that human is here, and I would say in all other solutions. So every time that we are looking at a project, we are looking at three things. So we are looking if and we should add a fourth one, but we are looking if it is about finance. Do we have enough money, and what would be the return on investment? The second thing, if the customer is happy, what is the net promoter score? So we are looking at the difference between the people very happy and the people who are not happy at all, and we are not going to put on the market or internally a process which is not having a good net promoter score. The third thing is the employee satisfaction. And Orange has a story, and so we have regularly some questionnaire to ensure that the tools and the people are happy and have a good life at Orange. It is very, very important. So for every tools and process that we are going to put in our life, in our professional life, or in the market, we want to ensure that it is okay with employees and also that their satisfaction goes higher. Sometimes it's something that it can be even more than the net promoter score. Perhaps we are going to make a new process and it will not change anything for the customer, but it will change the life of the employees. And changing life of the employees, sometimes, it's little things, putting sorry?
No,
it can be a bot, that will prevent the employee to make some copy and paste, things like that. So it can be little things, but it is very important. And of course, the fourth one that we need to put is the CSR analysis, and to really look at what would be the planet and also digital inclusion topic.
Yeah, we have several startups in Impact that are dealing with data privacy, like Cosanto and other companies that are developing a solution to enable this kind of human-centric solution for uses of electronic devices. So this company should be a good. I invite you to meet with this company during the networking session, and I invite all our audience to meet with this company during the networking session. And so, talking about those startups, could you give us a few words about the how you implement open innovation?
Yeah. So there are different ways. First, there is this open innovation and work with startup to encourage women to be startups, because when we look at all the startup and about also the finance and money reached by the startup led by women, it is always a big difference between men. So there is this action which we call Femmes Entrepreneurs, and there is 100 women per year that we accompany from the very beginning, from the idea to have a complete offer, and we try to use after this offer for our own benefit, or to make to talk about their offer to our own ecosystem and customers and partners. And after, there is the more what we call the Orange Fab, which is something that you can everything is on the web, of course, but it is for all the startup which are linked to our challenges. So there is something about artificial intelligence, there is of course 5G, there is CSR, but all the startups who have solutions in these areas, I think, I don't remember if it is every 3 months or every 4 months, but several times per year, there is a whole session, like an incubator, where we really look at the solution. So it is for more than for startups who already have a solution, but perhaps who need to find much more market. They have some good trials and customers, some customers already existing, but they could be much more important in terms of market. So we are really working to see how they could enter the same value proposition inside Orange, or to complete our offers. For example, if you have a startup which is providing an app for B2B, we have a specific or also way to distribute this app, and our salespeople are going to talk about this app, because we cannot do everything alone, of course, and our customers are going to present this app as Orange app, so the app that would be part of the Orange solution. And there is also, so there are many different things. There is also a part of open innovation in some places with the Villa Bonne Nouvelle, or there is the same thing in Toulouse, in south of France, where we have some startup working there, like a co-working area. And we have also some Orange team working in the same place. The goal here is more to, I would say, make friends, but to more from Orange perspective, to understand how our startup are really working, because when you are in a big group, it is not so easy. When
Definitely,
it's not so easy.
definitely, you have to join to organize meeting with the startups within the Impact Week networking session. You will meet there a lot of great innovative company, great startup with really great solutions for that.
Yeah, and then I would say the ultimate level is with Orange Digital Venture, where Orange puts money into startups which are really linked to our core business, and to help them to really gain their market.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. And so, are there technologies or topics that you are more interested in to explore in the future that we haven't mentioned yet? I mean, beyond 5G and so on. Or cyber.
Beyond 5G, I don't know. I think I think in circular economy we are still not there. It's not, perhaps, I don't know if it is in terms of technology. It's perhaps more in industrial processes. But you were talking about microelectronics, and I don't know, myself, I made a connected object, and I made it really with my hands. And so when you make really microelectronics, you really discover that there are a lot of things that that are lost. And it is very valuable materials. It is rare materials. And so in all the way we are doing these processes, and all the connected objects, they are made for one usage, and they are not made for several usage. And I think here we are not going in the good path. I don't know how to put that. It is more in the processes of extraction, of making making the object. It is you cannot have resilient organization and resilient solution and efficient solution. At some times it is either or. So perhaps we have been too much efficient, and it's true that when you make something specific, a solution which is designed specific for a topic, it will be perfect for this topic. But after, with the climate change, there will be I'm touching some woods, but it will not change anything. But there will be many crises, and so we need really to be more prepared, to be more resilient. And so what is designed for one unique solution, I think we are not going in the right way. I don't know how we could look at that. It's so much work. Well, it's good because there are a lot of works, and but you know, it's so much difficult,
Yeah.
so difficult.
Well, this is part of the work that BlueMorpho is doing, and we have some companies, some startups that are also working on this kind of solution. And we have this, we have a Usodier company who is also working on how to measure our impact and how to help companies and individuals to measure their impact and change, find new solutions. So this is definitely what we are working on in BlueMorpho, identify innovative companies, innovative solutions to enable to drive these changes that are now really important for all of us. So thank you very much, Emmanuel. I just wanted to highlight the follow-up, to follow up on your intervention. So here we are in this keynote on what sustainable innovation means for Orange. I wanted to highlight the two panels that I mentioned already. We will have a panel tomorrow morning about distributed ledger technologies in the new decade for data privacy and sovereignty. So for people who are concerned with this question of data privacy and human-centric solution, this is an interesting panel that you are invited to join also. And next Friday morning, we will have a panel discussion on how deep technologies can have a positive impact. And this also will, this panel will address also the question of sustainable digital transformation, green electronics, and networks infrastructures, scalability and sustainability. So I really invite you all to join these two panels at least, but as you can see, we have a lot of different panels, and you can also meet investors if you are a startup company. So we have meeting with impact investors, and you are all invited to take part also to networking session. If you want to meet innovative company, we have organized a networking session for all of you. Now I will ask you a few questions. I will ask a few questions to our audience, because we need to know what is if you want to receive more information on what we have been discussing just now with Emmanuel Jardat from Orange and the startups that I had mentioned, the work we are doing in BlueMorpho to identify disruptive solution to drive positive impact. I invite you to answer to this poll, because it will help us to better identify your expectations and your needs, and offer you the right solutions. And then again, I invite you to have a look on our full program and take some time to register to the panel if you are interested in. If you can't attend to the panel, you will at least have access to the registered webinar. I will close the vote now. Thank you. And so I invite you to visit our website to see to better identify topic of interest in the Impact Week program for you. So on BlueMorpho website, you will see the full program of the 5 of this Impact Week, 4 days. And now what I want to highlight is the companies that I mentioned earlier on. Impact Week so has been designed to allow you to meet with innovative startup. So if you are interested in the topic presented by discussed with Emmanuel today, do not hesitate to get in touch with them. We have here CoBox, enables freelancers and cooperatives to create their own cloud, allowing full control of data and trusted backups. We have Usodi, as I mentioned, who helps organizations to measure and increase the social and environmental impact of their digital devices. We also have Consento, which has developed cybersecurity solution to empower individuals and corporations to manage confidential data independently using a human authentication system through designated trustees. And related to the food concern that Emmanuel highlighted previously, so we have Brown Natura and Pixo who have developed some solution in this sector. So definitely you need to meet those companies, make the best of the networking session that we have developed. I can also, I will share a new poll with you, also asking you if you want to meet this company. And if yes, just tell us that you want to meet them, so that we can organize B2B meeting with you and them. So don't hesitate to get back to me or any member of Blumorpho team to organize this B2B meeting, and we will use the result of this poll to organize it. So don't hesitate to get back to us also. Thank you very much for your vote. And I don't know. Yes. So, and I invite you, because I just highlighted a few of the companies that are involved in Impact Week. I invite you to go on our website where you can see more about them. You can have presentation of them that pitch short videos introducing these startups. So you can have a better overview of the disruptive solution that we have gathered for you there. So thank you very much to all of you for your
Olivia, we have a few questions. If we have 2 minutes more,
yes,
Emmanuel, we have a few questions for you. So does Orange invest in startup clean renewable energy power source startups that can make their data centers more efficient? So those companies working in data centers and especially providing clean renewable energy power source, are they interesting to you?
So I think, I don't know for outside of France. I think for France, they are building a new data centers with the same as the one the one that we already have in Normandy, and also in Normandy and another in Chartres. For all the rest of the world, yeah, I think it would be very interesting, because it's not so. The energy consumption is really at the heart of our carbon footprint. So it is very interesting. Yes.
Thank you. That's gonna make Michel happy, I guess. And another question: can you create an app that calculates your carbon footprint and gives ways to improve your own carbon footprint? So is this something that you have created internally within Orange?
Yes, we are really coding it right now. So there are things that we are yes, we are making the calculation right now. There is already one app that you can download, which is called the Mobile Carbon Analyzer. It is the same thing for mobile phone that you can have on Firefox on your PC for which is called Carbon Analyzer, that you can download, and you will see your impact regarding digital consumption. And we are making a more global app to take into account all the other action, because even if digital globally is a big part of the carbon footprint, in comparison to other action, it is quite small.
Very good. Thank you very much for those two answers. And we will exchange with you for additional questions in any case we receive.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
You're welcome.
Olivia, the floor is yours.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for those questions. Thank you, Emmanuel, for your answers. And so we'll leave you there. Thank you very much for joining us for this discussion today, for this keynote. And enjoy your Impact Week, and meet you. Looking forward to meeting you again in another panel discussion or networking session.
Absolutely. We are looking forward meeting you all in networking session. And I hope, Emmanuel, you will have a bit of time for some of the networking session this week, so you can also interact with the companies.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.